Let's go into heritage. The Iranian for Iran, for Pakistan, for India. The Iraqis did it for Iraq. We've come over here now.
A lot of what the scholars inherited towards us is 90% of our azab.
But is that a problem?
Why don't you hear English masa'ib in the Indo-Pak Majlis the same way with the wahwas and the
It's been done and it's actually quite good.
Does it work? Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to mention the guy's name?
What language do you think in?
Oh, good question.
When you think of the next generation and stuff like that, why is it important? Like you obviously with Arabic, but with other languages, what's the importance?
Before you answer, I just want to say the English white guys are speaking Kashmiri. The undertaker at the graveyard. He's Yorkshire. All right, we're gonna form a line, and you're gonna take a bit of mitti, and you're gonna put it in grave.
Yeah, that's too much. I want Britain to be about British.
Losing heritage, is it a problem or not? Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast discussing different themes, topics and subjects within the Shia community. This episode we are going to be discussing, is losing heritage a problem? Many of us come from different backgrounds and we brought our culture, tradition, food towards our new homes. However, assimilating in a new country, making it a new home, does let us adopt new ideas, new customs, and also a new language. Are we losing our heritage? Furthermore, is losing heritage a problem? To discuss and more, we have my brother Hussein Sukhni.
Always a pleasure.
And also Saif Ali Khan, South London's finest. Assalamu alaikum, boys.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are we doing this evening?
Alhamdulillah.
Good.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go into heritage. Most of us come from a background that is not traditionally Anglo-Saxon.
Correct.
Most of us probably grew up where we weren't allowed to speak English in the house.
Correct.
And we had to preserve as much of our ethnicity and our customs and culture as possible. Growing up now, being a lot older, how do we feel about that? Was it a good decision by our parents, or actually, I'd rather they taught me more religion than tradition and culture?
I'll let you go because I spoke English at home. So.
Fantastic.
not from birth, but from quite young.
But both your parents grew up in the United Kingdom.
So both my parents were born here as well. But my mom would speak. I don't know if you know what Kachi. You guys like Kachi, people within our community will know. But I spoke Kachi as my first language. In all the videos, it's quite interesting to hear myself speaking another language. But I think when my brother went to nursery, my older brother, and came back, that's when all the English started, and then it's just been English ever since.
Downhill from there.
I don't know if downhill, but that's what this episode will conclude on.
Your mum growing up at home, what did she speak?
In her house, Kachi.
Was she forced to speak Kachi?
I don't know about forced, but they speak like even now, like when my mom speaks with my grandparents, there's a mixture of English Kachi, but my mom tries the Kachi more than my grandparents.
What about your dad?
My dad, Gujarati.
Gujarati. So at home he wouldn't speak English.
I don't know. No. He would speak. Yeah, whenever he's talking to my mum, he's in Gujarati, so it must have been like that.
I'd say he's classed as what, third generation.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
So that's what when I
that's
look
like
at
the,
you've assimilated.
Yeah. So when I see Safe, I'm thinking about my kids as well. That's
that's a fair point. Man.
What they're gonna talk.
Yeah.
Because with us, it
happens.
With us, we spoke mainly Arabic at home, but I think we formed a whole new language.
Arabic and English. Arabic.
So we would have
examples.
Yeah, examples. So we would say Arabic stuff with English grammar.
Go on.
Like for example, I am uknusing, like I'm cleaning, or I am nadhafing, another way of saying cleaning, or vacuuming, cleaning. So it would be funny. It would be a nice little mix. But I think it was important that we spoke Arabic at home, and I see that now that I'm older, and I sort of feel bad for those from my generation and my culture that don't speak Arabic now, because they are missing out on a lot.
Do you think you're going to do the whole thing where you speak to your kids only in Arabic at the beginning?
100%.
Is that something you've discussed with your missus? 100%. Like, are you both on board?
Yeah,
you both understand the importance?
100%. Not just because it's important for them to hold on to their heritage. It's because they're going to spend most of their time outside the house
speaking English.
So they're already going to learn that language.
Yeah.
So for several reasons and on many layers, it's important for them not just to learn another language. It's also important for them to hold on to that heritage as well.
I grew up speaking as youngsters. We spoke Urdu in the house, but my parents spoke Punjabi with all the other family members. And then we picked up on that, and now we all speak just Punjabi at home. I prefer to speak it at home, actually. I still speak it with my mum. I don't speak much English with her. But I wish, now I'm old. When I was younger, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm British, yeah.
Not even British in that. Like, Urdu, no, it's a beautiful language, but it's very soft. And you know what I mean? Now I actually wish they taught me more. I only learn up to conversational. I wish, whereas English, you think about it, when we learn English, what do we learn? We learn, you learn how to write, you learn grammar, you learn poetry, you learn Shakespeare, you learn some, high level academic language. And I wish I was taught that as a youngster as well, where I learned, different poetry.
So you don't read and write?
I can read and write in Urdu. I'm not fluent like that. It will take me a bit longer than the average person, but I can do it. Especially when I'm in Iraq, I'm reading all the signs, and stuff like that.
What language do you think in?
Oh, good question. 3-4 languages.
You think in 3-4 languages?
Well, I've dreamt in 3-4 languages. Like,
no way.
But even Arabic, yeah.
Like first natural voice in your head.
It depends on the situation. It's mainly English and Punjabi.
That's
so yeah, I think in multiple languages. I've dreamt in multiple languages.
Listen for you, it's English.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it at call, but no, it's just English. Maybe a few Arabic words like Salam Alaikum, but
mainly English as well. But what I try to do is I try to actively think in Arabic. So when I try to talk to myself when I'm trying to plan what I'm gonna do, I try to do it in Arabic.
That's one of the methods they use for learning a language. Like I studied Spanish at uni, and they said you can't. I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy that my Spanish is my second best language actually.
Really?
Better than my Urdu, Kachi, Gujarati, Arabic, Farsi, whatever. As in all those languages I can speak a little bit, my Spanish is a lot better. But it's just one of the methods for learning the language is thinking in the language. Because once you start thinking in the language, then you adapt to it rather than translating in your head. So
my Hosa teacher, he said, the more languages you can speak, the more ways you can think.
There's a saying by if I'm not wrong, Imam Ali on languages. I don't know if any of you lot know it. No, I don't know it myself. It's something along those lines where
I know Bihar Anwar Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi could speak and read and write 72 languages, and 72 back then meant 70, like many, like loads.
It's not specifically 70.
Yeah,
it means
loads. So he was very, very.
And they say he was illiterate.
Yeah,
Ajib.
And they say he's illiterate, and Aimma could read, write, and speak every single language, including Imam Rada when he used to debate. So he was on for debating, and they would come from Africa and things like that, and they would be shocked because he would respond to them not only in their language, in their dialect.
Ajib.
And they would say he talks to us as if he's one of us, like he grew down the road, like he's from our area. That's how fluent our Emma were in knowledge of language.
But do you think, so with learning all this language and stuff like that and the whole growing up at home and stuff, do you think it's like now, all right, I'm third generation. I think you guys are both second generation, right?
First, I guess.
First.
Where
were you born?
Where was first?
I was born here.
Yeah, I was born here.
We're first generation.
So you're second generation.
Oh, okay, that makes me second generation then, because I was the second generation to be born here. But when you think of the next generation and stuff like that, why is it important? Like, you obviously with Arabic, you can argue that the language of Islam is the Arabic language and stuff like that. But with other languages, what's the importance?
Before you answer that, I just want to say I wish I was stronger in Iraqi, just so I could understand Nati, because Nati sounds so beautiful. The 100%. Pain in their voice when they recite. I wish I could. My Arabic was strong.
I'm gonna throw that back on you.
Go on.
I wish I understood Urdu and Punjabi.
Really?
I really wish I did. Not just that, Persian and Turkish. Those are the 4 languages that I really want to learn. Mainly because a lot of poetry of the Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim are in those languages.
And translation just doesn't do it.
It doesn't do it justice. So I just want to understand it in that language rather than someone sitting there translating it for me. Which brings me to actually majalis. What would you prefer listening to in majalis?
Oh, it depends. Like if it's academic English, because I went to university here. My academic persona, the environment I grew up in was in universities here in the UK. So if it's a nice academic lecture, I prefer it to be in English. I don't have the academic level of Urdu or Punjabi for them to I won't be able to comprehend the words that they will use. I'll be like, I've never heard of these words before.
What about the Masa'ib?
Masa'ib, it has to.
That's all different, yeah.
It has to be Punjabi.
It has to be,
It has to be Punjabi. But Urdu is good as well. It's not. I'm not saying Urdu is not as strong. It's very good. But Punjabi is a very, very heavy language. I say, for those of you who understand Punjabi and stuff, I tell people, if someone asks me, how do you explain Punjabi? I say it's the language of the broken heart, because it's so heavy. And the poetry that we have of if it's to do with the Ahlul Bayt and the Musiba, or even poetry of like, you know, sorrow, it really, like, people start bawling out, crying, because the language is so heavy. So I prefer my Masa'ib in
Punjabi, but lecture in English.
Yes.
For me, it's English, not out of choice. It's the language I understand the most. In Urdu Majlis, I'm able to pretty much grasp the meaning and get a decent understanding of the Masa'ib. And I feel like in certain ones, like in Urdu, there's I think a few different ways of reciting the Masa'ib. One of them is where they just shout a lot. Yeah. And in that one, I feel the passion a lot.
The passion is there 100%.
100% passion merchants.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
But for me, I'll be honest, like, maybe because of the way I've been brought up, like we started traveling to Al Akbar for the Majlis, because you had like these nice natty reciters where Haydari had English and Urdu, but it was the way they recited the Majlis, it connected with me a lot better. So growing up with that made me adapt to that slower style to get more emotional better. In the Urdu Majlis, there's been some Masa'ibs, and it's maybe the way they put the words, or the way you're able to feel the guy more, because despite being second generation English, my culture is still kind of Desi, right? So I'm able to feel the culture a little bit more. So when he speaks about a mother, I feel it a bit more when it's in Urdu, when obviously I do understand. And my biggest frustration is sitting in like the Farsi Roza when they're reciting, or the Majlis, or even Arabic, the Nati, when I'm hearing it, you can feel the emotion. You can hear the crowd around you crying. You hear the names. Like, for example, you hear the name of Sayyida Zainab or Ali al-Asqar or Abdullah al-Radhi, and you're not understanding what's going on. It's enough to make you emotional, but it's so frustrating.
Do you need to? Do you feel...
No, you don't need to, but it'll definitely add something to it, right?
So you've been to plenty of Pakistani or in Indo-Pak Majalis in the native languages. Yeah. When they do a Masa'ib, how do you feel listening to that?
It's what Saif mentioned. It's the little words you pick up. And the Masa'ib, we know the Masa'ib.
Yeah.
So once I pick up those key words, I'm already envisioning the Musibah in my mind. So he's not saying something new to me. Yeah. So whatever language he is reciting it in, I know what he's saying. Maybe I don't know the exact words, but I know what the Musibah is essentially. So I react maybe not the same as I would in an Arabic Majlis, but it still breaks my heart. You know, it still makes me tear, it makes me cry for the Masab of the Ahlul Bayt. It breaks, like...
Does it touch the soul?
That comes down to a lot of factors, not just language. I think it comes down to who's reciting, if I know the person or not.
Yeah.
If I know how they are off the minbar as well. So there's a lot of other factors to it.
Yeah.
But if we were going to put the perfect, let's say, Maulawi or Roza Khun or Musa'ib reciter on the pulpit, I would say yes, it does in any language.
Because that it definitely touches my soul every time I hear it.
And no matter what language it's in, if that perfect person is reciting it, then yes.
And not even that, even the Latmiya or the Noha, there's a lot of times where I remember there was one year where I think Ali Muhammad was reciting Al Akbar Foundation, and everyone around me was bawling, and he was speaking. I knew it was about a conversation. I could pick up that much about Sayyida Zainab and Hazrat Abbas, but I couldn't make out obviously what the conversation was.
But you know what it's
I can create the conversation in my head, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's still just a little bit annoying that I'm not getting what they're getting. Do you know what I mean?
Has it ever happened to you that you've heard a Masa'ib or a Latmiyat or something like that, and when you heard it, you really connected, you felt a connection with it, and you kind of like made up your own meanings to the words to help you, and this is why you didn't like it, and then you went to the translation and you asked someone and it was totally different.
Completely different.
And then sometimes it's like, oh, I prefer my version. I prefer my translation of it actually.
Because you sat in so many majalis that you can create that for yourself. Yeah, I think that's
But
why.
so growing up, by the way, we used to have like Urdu Majlis in our center when I was younger, and I used to sit there, and I'll be so honest, I don't think I've barely spoken Urdu.
Nothing.
We don't speak Urdu at home. Like I said, we speak English. The other languages are with my grandma Gujarati and with my mum here and there Kutchi. But Urdu is not really spoken at home. It's spoken in the community, but a lot less so. So I would sit in the majlis, and I'm not joking. As a kid, I understood absolutely nothing. Like genuinely nothing. I can't even think.
Now,
and I got so frustrated because for my dad it was no, you have to sit here, you have to sit in the majlis, and I appreciate that a lot. But I was gaining nothing from it. And I think over time, obviously now we've got English majlis, but there was a massive, massive resistance against English majlis. And I can imagine growing up in a Urdu household or an Urdu community or coming from Pakistan, that English probably sounded very, very cringy at first, especially when it got to the Masab.
Yeah.
And I know
we're a lot better right now.
A lot better, and it's become normal to us. That's the thing. Like I went with some again to a majlis over here or in Kolkata, I can't remember now, but I remember there was an English guy reciting, and he started reciting the 90, and I was with some Pakistani guys who have never been to an English majlis, and they said, "Bro, the guy sounds like he's singing a song."
Yeah.
And I was just like, I've never actually looked at it like that, but it does sound like he's singing because it's just English words with the Iraqi style.
Yeah, but I've heard in Urdu and in Punjabi Masiba with a rhythm to it, you know?
But it's because it's songs we hear in English. Like being born in England, if you're going to hear any music or whatever, you're going to hear it in English. So you're going to associate it with...
Here's the problem. Sorry. Arabic Masa'ib are read in the tone of the Arabs or in the rhythms and the musical elements of the Arabs, or however you want to... Or the rhythm of the Arabs. The Urdu and the Punjabi Masa'ib are read based off that culture.
Yeah, their rhythms.
Yeah, why are we reciting English Masa'ib based on the tune of the Arabic Na'i?
That's something. I think it's because it's a safe haven. I don't know how the Iraqi community are with composing new rhythms.
I don't think we're equipped for that. It's
Pakistani
not about
community. We're well ahead. We have composers and everything. That's why
in
every
English.
Noah sounds totally different.
No, but he's talking about adapting those ones to English.
Yes.
Why can't English create its own? Is that what you mean?
Why doesn't English? Why don't you hear English Masa'ib in Indo-Pak Majlis the same way with the wahwas and the?
It's been done and it's actually quite good.
Does it work? Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to mention the guy's name? Sheikh Nabil Awan. He does a very, very good Masa'ib in English, and it's based on the Indo-Pak style.
Is it? What?
Sheikh Panju, his whole Majlis is very, very Indo-Pak style.
Yes, correct.
And it's all in English.
Correct.
His Masa'ib as well.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's rare, but the amount of English lecturers or lectures we have, I can only handpick a few. Sheikh Osama does a very good job of blending it. A lot of them do have every now and then have a nice blend, but it works-ish for us at the moment. But if I'm looking at my kids...
Sorry, have you seen my Shia voice episode?
Don't get into that, yeah? There we go. We've got a prime example here.
No, but by the way, as someone who's done the reciting side, I'll be honest, I did try a few different styles. The one I wish I could recite the most is the Iranian style, just because I felt so much stronger emotion in it. Do you know what Dora is in Punjabi, where they recite the Dora during the Noha? So I actually tried that in English. It just doesn't sound right.
It doesn't work.
It just absolutely does not work. With the Arabic one, because people have started doing it, Sheikh Osama was actually someone who took massive inspiration from. It still connects. I've connected to it very well, and I think it still works. I think the other styles, like you said, the Urdu ones work, but I've only noticed it more so with the Desi crowd. I think the likes of Sheikh Banjo are internationalizing it a little bit more, because I noticed a lot of other people at his majlis this year when I went in Muharram. But you're right. I think the Iraqi, it's just got something to it. The Iraqi style.
It's tradition, I guess.
It's tradition, because I've seen on Instagram recently some guy who tried what I'm suggesting, the whole reciting English Masa'ib with an English sort of...
What is it? What is an English style, by the way? Like, I'm just thinking Anglo-Saxon,
No. You have eulogies that are done in English, and the ones that are famous are probably the Irish, who they sing with no music or no clapping or anything.
Irish spoken word. There's a few things.
They're called shanties, I think they're called. Is what pirates used
to
sing.
Yeah, the
That's
pirate
exactly
shanties,
what I've seen. Someone read it in one of those. It was the worst thing I've heard in my life. But
is it based in America?
It's based in America. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
For me, looking at
shout out to that guy though, because he made an attempt.
But listen,
he made an attempt. No, don't get me wrong.
This is a stepping stone to other potential ways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's a problem with it, but I'm saying for me as a listener, I could not listen to it.
No, yeah,
it's really difficult for me to listen to it. And I'm being honest here, bro.
Did it make you laugh?
100%.
It made me laugh as well.
Because number one, I couldn't understand what he was saying. Number two, it was so foreign to me. I'm like, what is going on?
But do you know what the guy tried?
Again, like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not one to say it's wrong.
Do you think there was a time when Iraqis tried to recite in Farsi and got laughed at?
100%. And I was there when someone decided to recite a noha in English using a 3-beat Iraqi noha. You know, the gat. Bro, it was. But
shambles. Did you? Oh, by the way, was that over here? Yeah. Did you have that resistance against people not wanting to adapt to this new modernization?
Till now, we do.
Interesting, because we had a lot of that issue in our community, and I think, like, with respect to this topic we're speaking about now, it's people wanting to hold on to their culture and heritage, and I get that. Like my father's generation, they don't want to let go, and I don't blame them. But then, or even for older than my father's generation, to see grandchildren that don't have the same culture as them, it's quite difficult. They've got a different identity.
But I understand why.
But what about those kids that are growing up like myself that struggle to have the language understanding? And you can connect. Don't get me wrong. Of course you can connect. I could go to a Japanese majlis and I'll connect to Imam Hussein. But I'm sitting in that majlis and not getting the same depth of knowledge, the same academic level of
I'll tell you why it's important. Even if you don't understand the language is not just you understanding the words. It's keeping the culture.
Yeah.
If we westernize our majalis too much, then we lose a lot of what we grew up with, a lot of what the scholars inherited towards us, a lot of what the Rozakhuns and the Nohahuns inherited to us, which is 90% of our azat.
But is that a problem? Because what the Noahans and the Rozakhuns have contributed was for Iran, for Pakistan, for India. The Iraqis did it for Iraq, for their communities. We've come over here now and we've adapted.
You've got people composing English to the
difference
and stuff
is
like that.
The culture of Pakistan, a lot of it has the culture of the Ahlul Bayt.
Okay.
The culture of Iran, a lot of it has the culture of the Ahlul Bayt.
Yes.
Turkey, culture of the Ahlul Bayt. There's a lot of Shia who have been there for generations and generations.
It's very familiar to the people.
When you try to adapt to a Western culture, there'll be a lot of Western influences, which could lead to haram, which could lead to moving away from the concept of aza and more towards the concept
so are you amongst that party of people that are resistant to this?
Not resistant, I think we need both. So I'm one who organizes Arabic majalis, but at the same time, it is very important, and I am a massive supporter of English majalis for myself and for the community. But I want to hold on to my culture.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think it's important, because if I lose my culture...
Can you take the language and hold the culture as well?
No.
Because it's just the language that's being changed. For example, in my community, where we've got English majlis, it doesn't mean we're having beans on toast for Niyaz.
But it could reach that.
No.
But
but is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, but it's leading somewhere. It's not a bad thing at all.
By the way, Rasulullah A'zam, big shout out to Rasulullah A'zam on during Ramadan time. You probably remember in Ramadan for Sehri, right? For Suhoor, they gave English breakfast.
Oh my God.
They gave eggs, beans, sausages, mushrooms, hash browns, the whole sufra was covered.
Is that the resistance that you've got?
It's not a problem at all. Well, I prefer...
What's it Bagila biddahan?
It's not a problem at all, but what we've got to look 20 years forward, 30 years forward. Where is this going to lead to?
Okay, but so for me, it's thinking about, you're gaining all of this. You're gaining the heritage. You're gaining what the Rodakhuns done, etc. You're gaining all that stuff. But what you're sacrificing the child that's going to go all the way up to the age of 14, 15 before he decides to open his own books. To be fair, it's not fair to say this point to you because you're advocating both. But let's just say
I'm advocating for one. Let's
say someone like myself only had Urdu Majlis. Yeah. I would grow up and I might not find that connection to Imam Hussein because I didn't understand who he was. Yep. I might not, for example, understand the inner depths of the religion. You got people that speak about fiqh, speak about history, speak about all this different stuff. I won't actually understand anything. All I will know is I go to this majlis, towards the end of it, we cry because we love Imam Hussein, and then I do martyrdom afterwards.
As someone attending, I'm not wasting my time, even if I don't understand the language. But as someone organizing, what am I doing with my life? Why am I organizing this majlis? I've got a whole generation of youth that are not understanding a word that's going on, which means they're going to get bored from the majlis, which means you're going to stand outside chatting, maybe stop coming to the majlis, which has happened to a lot of people. It happened to the generation before mine. A lot of them don't come anymore to the centers, and they've completely left the path.
They've lost connection.
They've lost connection completely. So I hear that, I understand it. But if you don't find the right balance, not just with the Arabic culture, even with the Indo-Pak culture, with the Persian culture, you need to have that. Yes.
I wanted to ask you both a question. If we have a community of a Shia community, Husseini community of English people, they're all English.
Yeah.
You know, Barry, James, John, and Matthew, and Michael and Dave, right? And they're all Shia. Now, how do they do their azah? How do they live out their Shia lives? They don't have Iraqi heritage. They don't have Iranian heritage or Indo-Pak heritage. So now, obviously, it hasn't happened yet. But can you see where I'm going?
I think so. In our community, there's about 3 or 4 regular English white people that come to Hadria.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're just going to adapt to what we're doing.
Yeah.
But if you look in Nigeria, where Shia Islam's come very quickly, so you've got not just 3-4 people at a time coming, you've got whole villages of people.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Nigerian Latmiya and stuff they've got? They've literally taken their culture and just changed essentially the names for Imam Hussein, etc.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So if we had that in England, for example,
football chants.
Maybe it might be football chants, or
instead of Ale, it'll be Ali, Ali, Ali.
Whatever it is. But wouldn't that be the blueprint for the next generations of our children that in the UK we do it like this? For example, we have the Ta'boot, which is, you know, a big tradition in all our backgrounds. Imagine, you know, English people had like a horse and cart with a coffin on it and a green cloth.
They've done that. In Manchester, they've done that.
What would you guys think? What are your opinions?
I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Because I think we're forcing that push into the culture. It's not naturally evolving. There's no problem with it, but I think
personally, it's not your cup of tea.
It doesn't float my boat.
Right, it's not your cup of tea.
You're not
I think
against
we
the
should
idea.
always return to the culture of the Ahlul Bayt at the end of the day.
So for me, I think something like Karbala very evidently happened in the Middle East. I can't pretend it happened in like the mountains of Norway. But with religious stuff, so for example, where they're giving a lecture and stuff like that, all the prophets that came didn't come with Arabic. They all came with different languages for their people.
Yeah.
And I think likewise, the message should be adaptable to those people. For example, the lecture, if a Maulana is coming to teach about, for example, gender relationships, there's no point having that conversation in Urdu or in Arabic if none of the youth can speak that language. However, you can't go and take Imam Hussein and do, for example, a play on Imam Hussein but dress him up as the Western Knights, for example.
Like and stuff. You can't.
You know what I mean? Because you're right, there is an element of the culture that should remain.
It has to stay.
And also, by the way, and another reason for staying to the culture is when Imam al-Mahdi comes, he's gonna come where? He's gonna go to. His announcement will be made in Makkah, and he'll be established. His governance will be in Kufa.
Do you think because he is a leader for everyone, so he transcends all borders and nationalities and ethnicities, but is he going to be someone who's going to be like, right, all of you're going to have to speak Arabic now, you're going to all have to dress in this tashat and this, or do you think it's the opposite actually? Is he going to wear a suit, you know, like?
Why was the Quran not translated at the time of the Prophet to other languages?
I don't know, nobody could do it.
But to be fair, there's ayats in the Quran speaking about the language of Arabic. So I think Arabic in itself has an importance.
That culture is important.
But the culture, language and culture. So we're breaking down the language and culture now.
The language is the culture. Language is not just words. The more I speak English, the more my life turns English. The more I speak Farsi, the more my persona, my attitude becomes Persian.
Yeah,
it's natural.
Okay.
Like a lot of people I know from when they were kicked out of Iraq in the 70s and the 80s, they moved to Iran. All the majalis are in Farsi right now.
Yeah.
Like cousins of mine, they're Persians in front of me.
They prefer. I've heard that they prefer to speak Farsi than Arabic.
They speak Farsi. The way they act is they're Persians, and I don't blame them because they grew up there. They speak the language, the environment. It all plays a role. The same way at home. If I'm going to speak English,
so they've lost their Iraqi heritage.
They've lost their Iraqi heritage.
Is that a problem?
Yeah. No, but losing the heritage that's linked to the Ahlul Bayt is a problem.
So, but you know, if let's just say,
so you don't have Iraqi heritage, that's not a problem.
No.
You don't have Iraqi heritage.
Well, arguably, but no.
You get it? It's not a
I'm
problem.
saying like,
Yeah. Well,
I go back to
Somewhere.
Medina.
Yeah. So it's not a problem you guys don't have Iraqi heritage, but if you lost your Eastern heritage, which is linked strongly to stories of the Ahlul Bayt and Musab Ahlul Bayt, and all of a sudden adapting a whole new culture which has no link to the Ahlul Bayt.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're not sacrificing the religious parts of it. It's just like, for example, I'm not gonna go and start walking around my house with my shoes on just because I'm started speaking English. Or I'm not gonna. There's other things coming to head.
Bro,
but I'm not gonna
I've
say
seen it
that.
happen. I've seen it happen, bro.
But like, just because I start speaking Arabic, don't mean I'm gonna eat baglo dehen in the morning and hummus, and you know what I mean. Like,
but I've seen it happen. I've seen people who are good friends of mine who grew up in this country, not even born here. They grew up at a young age in this country, speaking fully English. Bro, their house is an English household. I'm not saying that's a problem at all, but I'm saying they've completely moved away.
Okay, as if
from
they
the
move
culture
all the cultural stuff but maintain all the religious stuff.
It follows with it, bro. I think it follows with it.
So
based on what I've seen. Again, I don't know, but based on what I've seen.
Is there anything wrong with me opening my fast with a shepherd's pie?
No.
So there's elements that is okay.
Yeah, but you not fasting because you feel like you live in a Western environment is a problem. Do you get it?
Oh, but I'm practicing.
Yeah, but if you're practicing
in the West,
yeah.
My name's Jonathan, and I've been Shia like for 20 years now, and
yeah, bro.
You know, I still eat cornflakes in the morning, and
I think most of us do.
Which ones?
Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a cereal guy. I eat eggs in the morning, like get the protein in. But yeah. So Mr. Jonathan, who's like 20 years Shia now, who hasn't adopted any Arab, Persian, Indo-Pak culture, and does his is he less of a Shia than I am?
But a lot of our culture is derived from narrations of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So us breaking our fast with a date, for example, is narrations
recommended. Yeah,
it's recommended. Us doing certain things in our lives are recommended from the Ahlul Bayt, or the acts that Ahlul Bayt done, and they were from a certain culture. So it's always going to be strengthening our faith and our belief for us to adapt some of those cultural mechanisms or actions. So it's not a problem you being Jonathan, 5th generation Brit, becoming Shia. It's not a problem. You have your culture as well, and it's good that you maintain your strong roots wherever they're from. But at the same time, automatically, if you're following, I think, the madhab of the Ahlul Bayt, the religion of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, you're going to automatically have certain things in your life.
He's got a really strong point. Do you know why? Because it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you have to pray in Arabic. Your salah is Arabic. All our Maraja have said, for those who don't know Arabic and are learning, I think for them it's okay to do it in English. And
but
then
they have to strive.
They have to learn. It's like temporary. Your provisional is English, but you have to, until you learn the Arabic, and then you have to switch to Arabic.
I'll give you an example. As an Arab, I wear dishdasha. It's a silly example, but it's an example. I wear dishdasha. But I heard stories from scholars that the Prophet ﷺ used to wear something more similar to a sarwal qamis.
Do you know where the dishdasha comes from originally?
Where from?
It's Persian. It's the Persian royal family, the Persian kings wore dishdasha, the long robes,
the long ones,
and the abaya and that.
I always thought that, by the way, because how did they run around and
how did they mount the horses?
It came from the Iranian elite royal families and that. You're correct. With the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Amir al-Mu'mineen, they wore what is traditionally found in India now, in Pakistan, India today, shawal kameez, or even the toti. I don't know what you guys call it. Is it sarong? They call it in English. When you wrap a cloth around.
That's more of the Yemeni region.
There's narrations of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Amir al-Mu'mineen as well, qameez and idhar. Yeah, that's what they used to wear.
So I but I start to wear that more.
Idhar.
No, the sarwal qamis. Something.
Oh, shawal qamis.
Yeah, I wear dishdasha a lot of the time, especially in majalis. But when I can, I wear shawal qamis. But again, culture of the Ahlul Bayt. You get it? So I'm Arab, and now it's known Arabs wear dishdasha, but I prefer to edge towards the culture of the Ahlul Bayt. It doesn't mean I'm doing something against my heritage.
Do you think that when Islam first made its way to those regions like Pakistan, for example, the way it was adapted by like the Pakistan, well, it would have all been one country at the time if I'm not wrong, but the way they adapted the religion, had you gone there like 2 generations later, you would have found it very strange as an Arab, because they would have adapted it to their language, to their style, to the extent where people say, oh, I can't tell the difference between a qasida that's recited in Urdu and Bollywood. But that's because to the untrained ear, they sound very similar.
Yeah.
But for someone that's been brought up in the culture, you can quickly tell the differences. And I think likewise in English, for example, now it will sound strange. But over generations, it will start to sound very normal. It will become normal.
Right.
The cultures...
It needs work.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's it. It needs work.
It does. And people are striving.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I have to give a massive shout out. I've been waiting for the right time to do this, but we've got the old president of Haydari, I call him Liaquat Uncle. He pushed very hard when I was younger to get English going. Yeah. And I think it's reflecting on the fact that my community is a very young community. Like, it's a very youthful community, as opposed to some that have held on to their older languages or Urdu, for example. And I go there and you kind of lament the fact that people are either 30 and above or 10 and below, and the whole middle generation is just completely missed out.
Lost, yeah.
And I think you're right that there needs to be like a mix of the two. Sorry, your hand up.
I was going to ask,
you can
is
speak
Haydari
now.
is Haydari Mosque the official language for the main language of the khutbah and the
we actually I think we did an Urdu Majlis last year, if I'm not wrong, but pretty much just English. All the Nohas are actually mixed now, so we will have mainly Urdu Nohas. Occasionally you'll get the few English ones. On the very odd occasion you might get like a Farsi one or something like that, or you get occasional Punjabi as well, but all the lectures and everything's in English. And that's because
that's important as well, by the way.
Amongst the adults that do speak Urdu, their Urdu is not the strongest, I'll be so honest, because it's not their main language. They have Kutchi and Gujarati and
Swahili.
English and Swahili. And Urdu they only spoke back in Africa because all the majlis was in Urdu, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously over time when they came here, they gelled with the Pakistani community, so the Urdu stayed. But then now it's kind of simmered down because their kids speak English, their grandchildren speak English, and the following generations. In my generation,
what else? Yeah. A lot of stuff can simmer down as well. Yeah.
But in my generation, I reckon maybe 5 in every 20 speak. So what's that? A quarter?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
So probably a quarter actually speak Urdu, and the generation below, there's probably about 5 kids that can speak Urdu. So that's why we've kind of had to adapt to the English.
I can vouch, and because I know RA quite well as well. The generations in my community, in my Pakistani community, and I know in RA as well, they all speak the mother tongue fluent, conversational. Yeah.
And by the way, I respect massively that you lot have stuck to it. I wish I could speak my language.
But the thing is, our parents are migrants, arguably.
And you guys have a mixed crowd as well.
English wasn't their first language.
We do have a very mixed crowd. It's not just the Khoja crowd or just the Pakistani crowd. We've got a mixture of everything.
When it's a mixed crowd, you have to adapt to the language of the country you're in. So I understand that.
But I do miss out a lot. Like I said, I go to Urdu Majlis. I went Shokat Raza Shokat.
Okay.
And this guy's spitting bars, but I don't know what bars he's spitting. All I know is everyone around me. I understand bits and bobs. Or the most frustrating part is where he's building up to the point and I'm understanding. And then he drops the punchline and I'm just like,
what did he say?
Or when I come, obviously Arabic isn't a mother tongue of mine, but if I go to an Arabic majlis and I'm not understanding it, it's very frustrating, more so with Urdu because I know I should understand it.
Yeah. I think we struck the right balance. I think we
agree, which is a bit boring for a
podcast.
No. I wanted to simulate.
That's
in the sense that that as well, but in the sense that we've sort of made the lectures in English so we understand what's happening and we're learning, but the masa'ib and the aza is Arabic for us. So that way we have some of that culture, we've kept some of the tradition, but at the same time we're learning and we're understanding what's being said.
Right. So
it works.
There's 2 communities I want to bring up, 2 case studies, right? We've got the American Italians, okay, who still speak, majority of them still speak Italian.
Yeah.
Slight accent and maybe some things that are different to the European Italians, but they've got it.
Yeah.
They still speak it, right? And then you've got what we called the West Indians, the Indian migrants of the West Indies. So mainly found in Trinidad and Guyana, who have Indian heritage.
Yeah.
Now, the American Italians have developed their own new culture, which is very prominent in New York. You will see the way they speak. They've got certain words they use, gabagool and things like that, and maron, and they have
it's like a new language.
It's still Italian, and Italians understand it, but they don't say it as they won't say it as much as these guys say it. And they've got their food, the pizza slices, which is really famous with New York. And then you've got these West Indians these Indians that have come to the Caribbean, who their food has changed a bit. they've the majority of them don't speak the native. They don't speak Indian languages anymore
at all.
Yeah,
but
they look Indian.
Years.
They've been there since the 1800s.
Yeah, man.
200 years, but the Indians that are in the Middle East, and I'm talking about Yemen and the UAE, and they've been there for God knows how long. You know,
even there's a
and
settlement
in Africa,
in Oman as well.
Most of them still speak their mother tongue. They didn't lose their heritage.
That's because I don't think they interacted as much with the general public. They were more
secluded in their own little communities.
They come, they work, they go, sort of thing. Again, it's an interesting case study.
So these West Indians, like their dress is similar, but not. They haven't got it down to exactly the same as the Indians. So the language they've totally lost. Some of the poetry in that, I've listened to it. It's got the rhythm, but they haven't got the words. And I'm like, what are they saying? And it's
all
like,
over the place.
We don't. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, why are you trying to just say it in English?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to speak Hindi for, or Gujarati or anything? And he's like, no, our grandma used to sing it or whatever.
And it's what
like,
they remember.
And it sounded like this.
Yeah.
I remember these words, but I don't remember those words. And they just murmur it and stuff. It's, like you said, it's a mess. But hey, they've got their own culture, which they've, assimilated with the different ethnicities that are in the Caribbean.
It's going to happen naturally. It's even here.
Everything's quite organic.
It's going to happen naturally. And like I said, I don't think it's wrong, but it's just a taste thing for me. Because I feel like I'm more attached to my mother's culture in a sense, but it's going to happen naturally. And we're seeing it.
The Muslim culture that we have has had a bigger impact on London culture. We've got English people saying mashallah and
wallahi.
Wallahi is one of the most used words in London.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what halal food is or halal diet. Everyone knows what that is. That's haram.
Their own variation.
They even say it, bro. You can't do that. That's haram.
They
say it. Our presence has actually had an impact.
There's
on
a lot of
London.
us. Don't forget.
There is though. Yeah. How percentage wise? How much of London is Muslim?
East London, I think 99%.
It's got to be more than 50%. It's got to be.
I don't think that much. No way.
In London or the UK?
Because London, just London. London as a city.
Is Croydon part of London?
Pardon? Is Croydon part of London? Are you in the London borough of something?
I don't know. I think Croydon just comes as
There's no London borough of. Croydon's not in the London borough.
Croydon's its own borough.
Just London borough of Croydon.
2021.
Yeah, I think it is.
In 2021, the percentage of Muslims in London was 15%.
15?
Yeah.
No way.
And I think that's about right.
Which amounted to 1.3 million individuals.
So
how's that?
But you got to realize,
1.3 million.
That's not 15%.
Yeah, 6 million. I think is the population of London. 6.6.
The figure represents an increase from the previous consensus when Muslims 12.6. Yeah, I think that's under.
But you got to realize we live in like more immigrant areas. Like where I live, if you go a little bit further down, as in a little bit further south, it's all just English people. Even if you go to like towards Clapham. Okay. There's not many. Where the areas that we live is the more Muslim. Even Fulham.
Areas.
I'm going to do another search
Fulham
now.
Or
Chiswick, Putney.
If you go like,
I'm going to do another search.
Sheen, more like Sheen. Sheen is really white.
What's the percentage of Muslims in Bradford?
Bro, that's like my second.
I'm guessing
it's got to be
65%. I'm trying to be
don't overshoot.
Higher or lower?
Lower than that.
What? In Bradford.
According to this,
he's right because Bradford. You're thinking of just the Bradford city, but
there's
like
the villages around
Batley
there
and Keighley
and Hebden Bridge,
which come under Bradford as well. But it's high though. It's got to be more than 25%.
30.5%.
30.5.
That's a big number.
Do you know? There's so many Pakistanis in Bradford, right?
And I don't think the Pakistanis in Bradford will ever. Oh, I'm Muslim, or take part in statistics like that.
The community is so big that even the English white guys are speaking Kashmiri. They picked up the words. Check it on YouTube, right? The undertaker at the graveyard, right? He knows the difference between a Sunni burial and a Shia burial. He knows even the words to use like khak and mitti and stuff. And
they know.
This guy's English, and he's like, "All right, guys, we're going to perform the sunnah, okay? We're going to form a line."
That is so mad.
He's going to do his Yorkshire. All right, we're going to form a line, and you're going to take a bit of mitti, and you're going to put it in grave. All right, now everyone getting like. And
that's too much. I want Britain to be about British. That's too much, man.
That's the thing. There's so many of them that even they've learned the customs and the cultures and
so that's it. It's all showing like a bit of a natural evolution. And you're right with the English. If English people did like come in masses towards Islam, they would adapt to their own culture. Everything would find its way as long as everything's within its religious means.
Yeah, I think in 30 years everyone's just going to be beige.
Yeah,
at some point.
Yeah, everyone's going to be beige.
Yeah,
there's going to be so much interracial marriage, interracial, getting together that everyone's going to be beige. And I think that's the beauty of it, man.
So, losing heritage, is it a problem or not?
I think there's some like
I don't know how I'm doing this. I think yes.
Yeah, I was about to say if I'm saying you definitely say. Can you imagine? When like losing heritage isn't just a language, right? Mm-hmm. It's losing the culture, the way you are with family, the way you are with everything. Like, for example, food. Can you imagine not having curry and rice every night? Like, I couldn't live without.
I have to have my curry rice.
There's a lot of like how we act with our parents. And I know, obviously, this is influenced massively by
culture
thing. But like in Asian cultures, it's very normal for a grandchild and a grandparent to have a very close relationship.
Yes.
Whereas I've noticed from some of my friends here, it's not fair to say all of them, but some of my English friends maybe go to see their grandparents once in a while at their retirement home in Cornwall or something like that.
Retirement home, like that word doesn't exist in our culture. Like,
those parts of heritage, we cannot adapt. Like that, we have to stick to who we are when it comes to those, because this is the good thing. It's like what. Yeah.
But you know what? The Irish are not like that.
The Irish are cultured. I love the Irish.
They're not like English. Yeah, they're very family orientated.
They're cultured. They're like Asha'ir. The tribes.
They're very tribal.
Of Arab, very tribal. I can always get along with someone from Ireland. Always, we understand each other.
Yeah,
I love it.
The Iraqi villager and the Irish.
No, bro, crazy. They have honor in their names, like, and that's why they fight so much.
Yeah,
because they're like, they fight for their names, for their honor, for their family. Like,
I respect it so much.
They're
very, what we say in our language, khandani. They're very khandani, like, and like I said, Ashira, very tribal, and stuff. And even they've got very similar customs to us. Correct. For example, marry their ladies young, their daughters, they marry them young. They don't let them out of the community like that. They work hard, they look after their elders. They don't speak out of turn or raise their voice to their elders and things like that. Very hospitable with guests.
Correct.
Things like that.
Because those things obviously match a lot with our culture.
Exactly.
Those are the things.
I think that's why they didn't get along with the Brits.
Have to hold on
so much. Yeah,
they don't get along with English, but they always got along with other ethnic minorities. But I think personally, losing heritage, if it happens, it happens. But what a shame! What a shame, because there's so much beauty in everyone's culture and ethnicity. It's like, the best way to say it is, everyone's ethnicity is like a bunch of flowers. You know what I mean? And we're in a garden full of these beautiful flowers. Okay, those are your flowers. Wow. Those are yours. These are my flowers. There's something specific and special about them. But we're all, we can appreciate and learn. And then think about that,
See, imagine he said that in Urdu. You wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't be able to appreciate it.
But if he said it in Urdu, it would have sounded a million times better.
I don't think it would have actually.
In Punjabi, it would.
Punjabi, no.
You'd have made me cry for no reason.
I would have said it differently. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's something so beautiful. And it's a shame that our next generation cannot appreciate and
it's difficult
and celebrate the beauty that.
By the way, now we've got YouTube, we've got stuff. We can actually, like, for example, I can but I can bring my child up listening to, for example, watching like these Pakistani stuff that I grew up with, and him being able to hold on to an element of the culture. It'll be a bit easier for him to.
It's not the same,
but it won't be a real inheritance.
Inshallah,
of the culture.
I'm blessed with a kid or children. Inshallah, the first thing I'll do when they hit the age of 2 or 3 is take them back to Iraq for a couple of years.
Yeah,
just for a couple of years. Let that build inside. Then they can live wherever they want. Then we can move to whatever country.
So imagine this, right? So in the Iraqi community, I know someone like Bassem Karbala'i is really big. Sayyid Hassan Karbala'i, Hamza Zoghai. Imagine there's a generation in 4 or 5 generations down the line, Hamza Zoghai's Latimiyat and Qasidas are not recited. Or it's recited, they've lost some of the words.
Bro, don't break my heart.
Imagine
don't break my heart, please.
I know where you're coming from, but that is the reality. They might mention the Indians.
Or they try to read it in English. Bro, don't break my heart, please. Please,
imagine our generations. They've never heard of Nadim Sarwar or the impact he had on the Shia community.
Bro, a lot of the things we take this stuff for granted, because a lot of those names you mentioned, they have an impact on our aqeedah as well.
Yeah.
It's not just a culture, and bro, it has a major effect on our aqeedah. Bro, the way we hear the poetry, the way we attach ourselves to the masab, the Ahl Bayt, through these poetries, through these reciters, it affects how attached we are to the...
But is there room for new legends to come?
There is.
Imagine 200 years from now, the famous poet Nuri Sardar, and they're reciting his poetry and stuff like that.
And we've reached that stage to some extent. Him and others. Ali Fadl, the footprint he's left in the English reciters world is massive.
Imagine in 200 years' time, every child, 2-3-year-old, is reciting Walking to Karbala.
Bro.
For Arba'in.
That's amazing, by the way.
You know what I mean?
It made me realize when you said those names, like, for example, we've got Shaheed Sibta Jafar.
Okay.
Now, imagine the later generations, or the ones that you mentioned from the Arabic community, Basim Karbala, etc. Imagine 2 generations down, there's 2 options. One of them is they look back at them and think they're like the cringy older, that's the stuff of the past. Or they hold it with pride and say, this is my heritage. This is who we are. This is our identity. And it goes one of 2 ways. And you're right, actually holding on to that heritage. Like if, for example, Sibta Jafar with like Jab Khuda Ko Pukara Ali Aga, like I struggle to understand that. Translation's there, but I feel a lot of pride in that, because that is really my culture. That is something. I never look back at that cringy. If the later generations didn't have that pride of that identity, then that would be quite concerning.
And the Imam says to Da'bil, recite for me in the
Iraqi style, right?
Iraqi style.
Yeah.
So for me, there's words of the Ahlul Bayt. So that's a full stop.
That's my excuse for doing it in English.
100%. Final thoughts, guys, for heritage, losing heritage. A problem, yes, no? Or any advice you have for
I just think
the next
that
generation?
I just think that listening to majlis or doing lessons or whatever in English, it's not losing your heritage. You can hold on to your heritage massively whilst listening to stuff in English, but make sure you hold on to your heritage. There's beauty in all of it. Correct. I've been to Iraq plenty of times. People of generosity and people of khidmah, and there's so much in that culture that's to be proud of. Pakistani community, so much to be proud of. In particular, the food. Just could never get over that one, and the chai. But in each and every person's culture, you should be proud of who you are, as long as it doesn't clash with religion, with Sharia. Then be proud of your culture.
I think language plays an important role in who you are as a person. So if you are going to adapt to the English language, which is not just it's very important. It's wajib for us to adapt to that language in this country. But at the same time, we have to keep the language of our forefathers, whether it's Arabic, whether it's Persian, whether it's Urdu, Punjabi, whatever it is. Because language and words play a massive role in who we are and who we become.
My final thought would be that I feel it's really important to keep heritage as a form of identity and who we are, paying homage to our ancestors and what they left behind for us.
Correct.
If the inevitable happens and we are to lose it, then for God's sake, please do not lose Abu Abdullah and do not lose the essence.
100%.
Inshallah. Thank you, gentlemen, and a big shout out to Muhammad Fahad, to Muhammad Rida, also Salman Bhai, Amir Raza, the whole team here at Shia Vibes and the whole team at Imam Hussein TV. Join us again on the next episode where we'll be discussing more topics here on the Shia Vibes Imam Hussein TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.